Hey RATBAGGERS, it's Jade. Quick guide today on Dawn Defiance, the brand new survival game that's out available on Steam right now. You can go check out some of my guides and gameplay I've already put out, and I've got a significant amount of time in it now. But right here, right now, I'm giving you a starter guide to where to find all the resources in the game that you may need. So all the natural ones that you're going to need, like the woods, the different ores, and a little bit at the end about hunting and making sure you're getting the right types of drops from some of the creatures that you're slaying. So if you find this video useful, please leave a like, check out the rest of my stuff as I mentioned that I'm working on, and let's go. Dawn Defiance Resource Guide. So basically, get off the starter islands. This will only have a small or limited amount of resources that you can actually get. So blackberries, raspberries, spartium, as well as flax, and of course yarrow, the stuff that you use to make potions and more. That'll all be on the starter island and the main island in abundance. Top tip, make sure you have 50 of the blackberries and the raspberries when you go to the crossroads, as one of the challenges with the trader is basically give him 50 of each. You will not find clay, copper or any of the other ores on the starter island. That's why it's important to go to the main as soon as you can. The tutorial will guide you through how to get feathers and resin and the basic starter wood, softwood. But I do think you get more resin from certain trees. Them trees there, right in the middle, no idea what they're called, I think they give a little bit more resin when you chop them down compared to some of the tall trees and obviously the trunks. Then you've got your darkwood. The trees almost look burnt to me with no leaves. Guess what? They're in the dark forest. And likewise, chop the trunks down and you're going to get dark resin. You've got hardwood and hard resin. It actually comes from trees almost kind of bordering the desert, in and around here. You may find some on this side as well. There may be other places, but this is what the tree looks like. It's quite wide and bushy. And finally with the woods, ancient wood and amber. But this stuff, I haven't really actually come across a full use for it just yet. It's found in the southern desert. In fact, I found a huge concentration at the teleportal stone right in the south. You may need a forged axe actually to go harvest that, as well as possibly the darkwood. I'm pretty sure a simple pickaxe did the job for the hardwood. You won't find any of these on the starter island. Likewise, none of these other woods. Copper ore, as soon as you come to the crossroads and you've landed, take a look at the banks of the hills nearby and you'll find plenty of copper. And copper is the most abundant found throughout pretty much all of the map. Here just north of the desert there is also some good spots for copper and pretty much littered all around this area. Tin ore was a bit more tougher. You're going to have to go up to the dark forest and you'll find clumps of it inside. And yeah, note to self, never go into the dark forest at night time. You will literally not be able to see a thing. So whether it's more deeper into the forest like I'm showing here, or actually close to the river, you should find plenty. Just left of the tree icon is another patch. Iron ore is in the mountains. Whether it's the smalland or the pindus, explore them and you should find some. Pindus just about here, and also the closer you get to the big archway that blocks off the region that they haven't added yet, that's where you're going to find gold. I'm pretty certain gold is in the smalland as well. But again, it's much rarer than the iron. And look out for the purple wisp. They may give you a little bit more of a hint of where to find some of these resources on the mountains, as that was pretty close by. But yeah, climb the mountains and get close to that gate, and there you find gold. Silver you'll find in and around the desert, literally at the entrance here, just on the west coast, and then more deeper in the heart in the south, plenty of spots too. Another place you don't want to come at night time, as there's this sandstorm that is pretty much always going on. But on the outer edges of the desert, it's definitely a bit easier to spot and see. Now I had come across obviously the clay golems as well as copper and silver, and you're guaranteed to get at least 20 to maybe 23 pieces of each resource when you go ahead and defeat them. Haven't come across an iron or a gold golem just yet though, but I reckon they probably do exist. So that's obviously another way that you can get that resource. Speaking of clay, pretty much yeah, anywhere near water, although there were some spots in the desert that were not exactly close to an oasis, but near enough. And that water spot, as soon as you come into the teleport or crossroads, again, some there. As well as reeds, anywhere near water. The river is probably going to be your best spot to get lots though. Don't build too close to these resources. That's a general tip for everything. Don't build right close to a deposit, as it can impede them resources respawning, depending on what settings you've put it as the respawn distance in the game menu. That did happen to me in reeds, and it took a long time for me to realise that yeah, I need to go up river to the north near the dark forest to go and get some more. Now Ambrosia Crystal can be found in all sorts of places. On the starter island it's the caves, and honestly that's probably the best spot to find them. Otherwise there's a spot next to the dark forest towards the east coast. It's just before one of the temples here. Also in the desert, right here. Pretty much here in the middle of the desert. And I'm sure there's some in the mountains as well. So a patch pretty much in every biome. But yeah, I haven't come across as many caves in the mainland as I did on the starter island. There's at least 2 caves on the starter island that do have the crystals in it, so it's well worth just going back there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, because you haven't left starter island or explored it all, well, go and do that before even watching any more of the video. But yeah, if you just hug the left hand side cliffs at the bottom of that doorway, you will find a little wharf entrance, and this leads to the bigger caves with some of the lost or the abandoned, and more importantly the Ambrosia Crystal. Couple smaller anomaly resources you have to collect basically to complete some of the temple challenges. One of them you've got to get 20 seashells. These can only be found on little islands to the northeast. Now you're meant to go ahead and get the best stamina potion and best stamina based foods to fly over here, but simply just go ahead and bring some wooden thatch with you and you can build a bridge and then maybe fly the rest of the way. As even with the medium elixir and stamina, I still didn't manage to make it that far. The shells themselves are really tiny, but they should be on the coast. And yeah, don't explore the rest of these islands. There's literally nothing on them other than one little plinth to give you a temporary boost of speed. I couldn't find any chests, any other reasons to go and explore, or any other resources that you would really want. There's one more temple in the dark woods in the north. This has got you getting medallions that you're meant to get from wayward soldier encampments. They're pretty much all in the north of the woods or surrounding areas if you're looking for them. And I was being a dumbass, but I couldn't find plumes. You need them to go ahead and craft certain helmets. You won't be able to get them until you've gone and placed a bird feeder down, put some blackberries in it, and that's how you get the plumes. There's obviously lots of other materials you're going to be refining and making, but this is a natural resource guide rather than that, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Like to get charcoal, you're going to have to make the kiln. To get stone bricks, you're going to have to make the stone cutter. Tin, copper and silver can be smelted at the regular smelter, but I think you need the greater smelter definitely for the iron, gold and the ambrosia. As said, some of the resources you won't be able to go ahead and mine or harvest until you get the right tool. And apart from copper, all the other metal resources I would say never pass up the opportunity to go ahead and mine them. Likewise, try and get at least 20 dark resin as well as hard resin, as you'll need them for some challenges with the trader to go ahead and get more masteries. Basically you've got to give him 20 of each, as well as obviously the wood. So you do need some of these ores and woods to go ahead and make crafting benches and obviously new gear, and it's more important as well that you pay attention to what the buffs are going to give you. So you will find a ton of tin and maybe the iron, and that's going to be giving you a lot more on your armor protection or your damage when you craft a sword out of it. I'm going to be showing off all the different armor and weapons, look out for a guide for that, but just another little top tip. Right, let's go over creature drops and some of the items that you're going to need by hunting efficiently. I think you've probably worked it out by now, but maybe I took a bit of time too, that if you go ahead and just melee a bunch of creatures, you're not necessarily going to get the best rated star carcasses. It's up to 3 stars, and obviously the 3 stars and 2 stars have got a better chance of giving you things like wolf hearts or the actual rabbit pituary glands that you're going to need for the more advanced potions. This is really important. I killed a bunch of hares just by using either the bow and arrow, which is the best way, but I was also using kind of cheesy way of doing my jump, dash and ground pound attack with my abilities to do it as well, since they're pretty quick. So I implore you right now, don't do that. Make sure you've got plenty of arrows, make sure you're hunting them efficiently and trying to get headshots as best as possible on some of the creatures like the wolves. Also go ahead and use the lures whenever you can. They will work, they will draw them out. Although I do find as soon as you shoot an arrow at one of them, the rest of them will scarper. But yeah, the more 2 and 3 star creatures you get, the more chance you've got of getting the better drops from them that you're going to need. That's not to say 1 star creatures are useless. I would actually save them. Don't use them on the butcher's block because you're going to need to donate them to do the hunter mastery to gain more gold coins from the trader. And that's the top tip. Any 1 star creatures that you get, save them, put them in a box so that you've got at least 20 of each, and then the rest of the 2 and 3 stars, go ahead and put them on the butcher's block to get a chance of getting the items that you need to make the better potions. And once you've got 20 of each for your mastery challenges, or you're just looking for more food and get more bonuses, then the better meats do give you better. So you will get more stamina and health eating a wolf's heart, but it does last only 5 minutes compared to 10 minutes for some of the other meats which aren't as strong. If there's anything I've missed, a resource that you've come across and found, or you need help with something specifically, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to take a look at potions and everything else you need to know about the resources and what you'll be using them for in another video. And I'll see you ratbags soon.